On this vote, the yeas are 214, the nays are 191. The resolution is, with 5 present, the resolution is adopted. Without objection, the motion to reconsider is laid on the table.
Hey there, guys. Welcome to the channel. So obviously you guys remember, I know that you remember, we had a riot at the U.S. Capitol. The Democrats want you to believe was an insurrection. And now the federal government has charged and prosecuted thousands and thousands and thousands of felony charges as a result of the things that happened on that day. And a very high percentage of those charges have been for obstruction of congressional and agency proceedings. And the exact statute is 18 U.S.C. 1505. And if anybody's keeping track, if you want to check my work here. Now, those people who are charged with that were a part of obstructing Congress's official duties that day. Now, you may also remember that not long ago, Congressman Jamal Bowman was arrested for pulling a fire alarm inside the Cannon office building to disrupt a congressional proceeding. It was a vote to keep the government open and avoid a shutdown, which those same Democrats want you to believe is honestly the absolute worst thing that can possibly happen in government. Anyway, now finally Bowman has faced some very, very minor punishment, if you can even call it punishment, for his actions in Congress. And of course, because he's a Democrat and because he's not white, punishing him is racist. The squad, they expect you to believe that punishing him is racist, even though he did it on video and then he lied about it directly after it happened and multiple times. He said he didn't mean to do it. He's just not smart enough to work a door. He thought it was one of those blue things for opening it for wheelchairs. And here's the thing. If you're not smart enough to work a door, you shouldn't be in Congress anyway. But you did it on purpose, and that's just a lie. If you or me did that, we would have been arrested, and we would have been charged with a really, really serious crime. He was very carefully charged with a misdemeanor by the Capitol Police, and all the Republicans did was censure him, which is basically say, hey, we're really very disappointed in you, and we're so ashamed. That's all a censure is. It really is. It's incredibly lame. So lame. Here's Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Jamal Bowman did not tell the Capitol Police that he pulled the fire alarm, even though he admitted himself that when he makes a mistake, that he would tell his own students, if you've made a mistake, own up to it and take accountability. Jamal Bowman had plenty of opportunity to admit his mistake and take accountability for his own actions. He should have told Capitol Police immediately that he made a mistake, as he claimed. But it wasn't a mistake, Mr. Speaker. It was on purpose, it was intentional, and it was all in part to play the games and the shenanigans that the Democrats were pulling that day as they were trying to block the continuing resolution that was being considered on the House floor. Remember, the fire alarm was pulled minutes after the Democrat whip made a motion to adjourn. But more importantly, he was intentionally playing his part to obstruct an official proceeding. By the way, this is the same thing that has been used against January 6 defendants and is still being used to this day. They are being locked up, held pre-trial detention, and being prosecuted by the Department of Justice nearly 3 years later for obstructing an official proceeding, which is exactly what a member of Congress did, Jamal Bowman did, on September 30th. But yet we have a two-tier justice system in Washington, D.C. And while regular people who walked into the Capitol, by the way, nonviolent offenders, many of them walked in open doors, and some of them also standing out on the lawn, never entering the Capitol, are all being charged for obstructing an official proceeding. But yet Jamal Bowman says, oh, it was a mistake and he should get a pass, and his colleagues make excuses for them and call us unserious. You know what's unserious? Having a justice system that doesn't hold everyone accountable and treat people the same way. This is an outrage, and this is a disgrace on this institution and this body. For someone that is a former principal who punished his own students for intentionally pulling fire alarms to make up petty excuses and think that his own constituents and the American people will buy his lies is a slap in the face to his voters, the people that he represents, and this entire country, and every single one of us that serve in this body. I would also add that if anyone is going to be charged and forced to remain in jail, forced to be serving prison time for an obstructing an official proceeding, then Jamal Bowman should face the exact same fate for every single January 6th defendant. Mr. Speaker, I urge all of my colleagues to vote for this censure resolution. I thank Representative McClain for introducing it, and at this time I yield back. Thank you.
Yeah, so there is literally no one reasonable on the entire planet that could argue with that. No one reasonable could possibly say that the man does not deserve to be held accountable for his own actions. You know, and that's where the unreasonable people come in. No one on the left can possibly explain why he shouldn't be punished. They just want to allege that to punish him is racist. So everything they can't explain, as usual, is racist. He is being held accountable, they say, because he's not white.
I think the ranking member, Mr. Chair, I think the Republican side of the aisle made the case quite clearly today as to why we should not vote for censure. Right now, you can tell how weak their arguments are because they are grasping for straws, trying to do their best My Cousin Vinny impersonation as to breaking down what happened here with a fire alarm. Jamal Bowman has more courage in his pinky finger than the entire Republican Party put together, more integrity than the entire Republican Party put together. And that's exactly why they're moving to censure him today. Let me tell you what's actually going on. New York Republicans are so embarrassed that they propped up George Santos, got him elected to office, and then had to turn around and vote to expel him, that they want to distract the entire world from their massive embarrassment. New York Republicans are so embarrassed that they have not accomplished a damn thing for New Yorkers this entire year, that they have to find a distraction. So they've decided to target one of the first black men to ever represent Westchester County in the United States Congress for censure. That is what today is about. And New York Republicans are so unfocused and so unable to make people's lives better that they've decided to bully their colleague. That's what today is about. They're wasting our time. They're wasting the country's time over some petty what rises to censure. I mean, truly, these arguments that are being made here, what's next? Jaywalking? Do you want to get us for jaywalking, for not crossing the street correctly? Is that what you're going to raise for censure next? This is truly ridiculous. It's beneath the character of the House, and it is beneath the stature and the status of what rises to consideration before this body. And with that, I yield back.
Roll the clips.
Mr. Speaker, I rise in strong opposition to the censure of Representative Jamal Bowman. This is yet another predictable but no less wasteful action. Congressman Bowman has taken accountability for his mistake, and even Republicans on the Ethics Committee agree that this is a waste of time. We've got 99 problems, but a functional government of the Republican majority is not one of them. Republicans are disconnected, dysfunctional, discriminating, and a disappointment to the American people. They can't pass a bill to fund our public schools, but they will bring this resolution to attack Congressman Bowman, a champion for students, a lifelong educator, a duly elected member of Congress, and a strong black man. He honors the legacy of the many brilliant black men that came before him. A quick history lesson. We are approaching the anniversary of when Joseph Rainey became the first black member of the U.S. House of Representatives in December of 1870. Just like Jamal Bowman, he fought for public education and civil rights, and he had to deal with double standards and racism in Congress. This censure is just the latest in this chamber's racist history of telling black men that they don't belong in Congress. To the black men of this nation, know that you belong everywhere. Jamal Bowman is
time has expired.
Another 30 seconds.
Gentlelady's recognized for an additional 30 seconds.
Him, and I urge my colleagues to vote no on this resolution.
Wow, I mean, just wow, man. I mean, to all of you still watching this video, if you made it all the way through this and listening to that entire nonsense, you are amazing. I'm really, really sorry to make you listen to all that. But guys, this is what we're up against. in America. This is what we have to deal with in modern day America. We have a political party that is just full of people who are not serious. These are not serious people. They can't even make reasonable, sensible arguments. Literally everything that they have to argue is based on race or emotion, complete and total hyperbole. It's just based on feelings. And AOC, man, after that insane tirade, wants to lead her poor, mushy-brained victims to believe that the Republican argument is weak, when really the Republican punishment is what's weak. That's what's weak. Their argument's just fine. Their punishment is weak. The man committed a crime. The man tried to freeze out a vote to fund the government in hopes that there would be a shutdown that his party could blame on Republicans. You know, nothing she said was even close to substantive, right? Not even close. So, you know, she didn't even try to explain his actions. She didn't try to give, you know, any of the same tired excuses that he used, because she knows that he did it and she knows why he did it. Instead, she just tried to minimize it. She compared it to jaywalking. Remember, you and me would be in jail for this for a long, long time, and she thinks it's just no big deal, just like jaywalking. And she obviously knows, that anyone who will ever see or hear her speech, every single citizen that subjects themselves to that, if they had done the same thing, they'd be facing very serious criminal charges. And she also knows that if you or I had done that, they'd still be given speeches about it. These people are just completely unserious. They're not even close to serious. They really want you to believe that Jamal Bowman should be able to do anything he wants because he's black and because he's a Democrat. And here's the worst part, man. All of that pageantry is because of a slap on the wrist. You know, they're absolutely losing their mind over a slap on the wrist, when we can all agree that if a Republican had done that, they'd have kicked them right out of Congress, just the same as the guy from New York. They'd have charged him with a real crime. And this really is, guys, this is how weak and spineless the Republican Party is, and how completely unserious the Democratic Party is. That's what we have. We have an unserious team and we have a spineless team. We are in real big trouble. We are so screwed. But I honestly don't know, what we could possibly be hopeful for, as long as this is what we keep sending to Washington, both sides. But it's amazing. That's just my take, guys. Let me know yours in the comments. If you haven't already, please make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Most importantly, share the channel. We'll see you in the next one.